Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Snowflake Viewpoint, episode 71. The date and time is the 16th of September at 8 p.m. UK time. How are you guys all doing? I hope you're all doing well. We are dual streaming here live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. Just before I come to you guys in the chat here who are live, just a couple of caveats before guys. So as you guys may have seen, I've not been feeling well today. I've had a stomach bug from last night, so I do have a migraine, so I'm definitely not 100%. This morning I was seriously considering not doing the live stream. However, I'm feeling okay. And also, in case I need to make an emergency leave, I do have a backup video to literally drop for you guys if I have to make a dash downstairs for whatever reason. But I should be fine, guys. I should be fine. Just warning you guys now. Got plenty of stories to talk about anyway, guys, as well. And also another reminder as well, please do not gift any memberships on this live stream, guys. Do not gift any memberships until... because obviously tomorrow I will be ending the $2.99 memberships. If you haven't seen the membership post already, I'll be ending the Snowflake Corporal membership level. Will be ending tomorrow, guys. So if you do gift any of those memberships, they will be automatically refunded. So do not gift any memberships tonight. That's for anybody who wants to do any, guys. So it'll just be once I put it through, I just need YouTube to approve it. And all will have just 99p membership. So I'm sure that'll be, for some people, it'll be a lot cheaper as well on there. So, who have we got here in the chat? So, Jao, good to see you, buddy. Thank you. Are here all the time, buddy. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you so much, Jao. Thank you. Always finding the time to be here. And you were also there on the premiere videos as well over the weekend. Alistair Keir, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I know you've not been around too much, been very busy with work and life stuff, and that's all good, buddy, but I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you again. Hope you're well. Genie Bottle, good to see you there. I hope you're all right. Mad Monk is here as well. Good to see you, Mad Monk. Hope you're doing well. Dave McGuinness, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're having a good evening at work as well. Yes, I know. It's very, very important that I don't want anyone... Yeah, so if anyone comes in, just... do me a favor, guys, later on in the live stream as more people come in, just drop a message or something in the live chat just to remind people as well. I don't expect any gifted memberships from people, but it is entirely possible that someone may do that, guys. So, but yes, it will be, the $2.99 membership will be ending tomorrow, guys. I'll just be putting it through. Right, so let's get started, guys. So the first one we're going to be covering is an analysis piece here from Sky News, and that's about Keir Starmer seeks urgent fix over the small boat crossings during controversial Italy trip. So it may have been a controversial trip to Italy, but the new Prime Minister needs to find a way to stop deaths in the channel. So before I read into this, so those who haven't been aware of this, just want to make this, those who have been under a rock and whatnot, Keir Starmer has been spending some time over in Italy. Not only is this, they've been looking at the migration system that they have, and the security system that they have to stop boats, obviously coming across in the Mediterranean, and how kind of Italy deal with migration when it comes from them, because obviously they are at the front of dealing with migration, and they actually have done pretty well, even if, yes, they are controversial, the things that they are doing, but what they have reduced the migration numbers by about 6 million. I'm pretty sure he'll say it in the analysis piece there, but about 6 million has dropped. Now, one of the reasons that they've been able to do this is they had a change in government not too a while back. A right-wing prime minister in Giorgia Mendi, I probably mispronounced her name, and they struck a deal with Albania, and basically when any migrants come wanting to claim asylum or refugee status in Italy, they have to be processed over in Albania. So they get taken to Albania, they get processed there before, if they're accepted, they get come back to Italy. If they don't, they get sent back to the country of their origin. The other thing that they have done, which is an extremely controversial one, especially against human rights organisations, they threw a shed ton of money at Libya and Egypt. There's two countries on the north of Africa where most migrants cross over from those countries into the Mediterranean to get to Europe. So the majority of migrants who cross over are from the continent of Africa. Some do come over, obviously, from the Middle East, from Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, and whatnot as well. But that's where the majority of them have been coming from. And basically, they've thrown a lot of money at Libya and Egypt and basically said, "Can you guys stop this?" And it stopped them, but at the same time, the argument, of course, is that they're not exactly very popular, the governments there, the governments in Egypt and Libya. Almost dictatorship, I think, is one of the words I think to describe. Tunisia, I'm pretty sure Tunisia is another one as well. So yeah, it's not a very nice thing. I think I covered it in a video actually on World Premier News Round. We talked about Tunisia and the controversy around the EU's relationship with them. So what has this all got to do with Keir Starmer in the UK? So he's looking for. I wouldn't go as far to say that he's looking to strike a deal with Albania, and the reason why he can't actually get a deal with Albania, which is why I'm very glad I checked out Zoe Gardner today as well. So she was saying that the deal that Italy have with Albania is an exclusive one, and Albania have no intention of offering any other kind of deal with any other country. So if the UK were thinking about sending migrants to Albania to get them processed in the same way that they're doing with Italy, they would not be able to do that because Albania would not accept it. That's apparently. Now, Zoe Gardner's saying that it's 9 times out of 10, she's probably telling the truth, considering that she is an immigration expert. However, that doesn't mean to say that Keir Starmer will not be using some of potentially another country to send them to process them and then bring them to the UK if their asylum claim is processed. However, and as you guys know, this costs a lot of taxpayer money, when the easier and the cheaper way to deal with the gangs is to create safe and legal routes. And this has been flying in the face of everything. Everyone knows safe and legal routes is the best way to do this. Now, I personally think we should have some kind of processing centre on France, where people can make their claims there, so they don't have to make the run across across the boats or even on the lorries, dare I say. And you just avoid that altogether. You avoid it. You kill the smuggling gangs. Everyone those who want to actually claim, and if they have a legal reason, if their application is successful, they come to the UK. If they're unsuccessful, then they don't get to come. That's it, pretty much. But I mean, I don't have a problem with Keir Starmer going to Italy and taking ideas off him. I don't personally have a problem with that. Some people do. I don't personally have a problem with that because I see it as a Prime Minister looking at ideas and seeing what he can do. Now, as far as I'm aware, as far as what I've heard, he hasn't said we're going to copy this idea completely or anything like that. That doesn't mean to say that he will or that he won't. He's simply gone there to see what they have done, how they have dealt with migration, and what the UK could learn with it. And I think that's really, really important context there. It's entirely possible that by the time you see this live stream, maybe a day or two later, Keir Starmer has a big announcement, maybe. Again, we'll have to wait and see. But I just think that that we shouldn't jump to conclusions on Keir Starmer's trip to this, because. But he also, as well as another thing, this is actually good, especially if you're somebody who cares very deeply about immigration as well. I think it's another thing before we read into it, because he is showing that he is serious about dealing with migration. He's showing that he's serious by going to Italy to look at this. He didn't have to make this trip. He's saying, look, I'm going to a country that has to deal with migration on a massive scale compared to us. And I'm prepared to take ideas and lessons from them in order to help deal with the migration that we have in the UK. So for those who are always blabbering on and screaming at the top of their lungs about migration, here is the Prime Minister going out of his way to another European country that deals with far more higher levels of migration than we do, and looking at what they're doing and how they handle it. Like I said, different country, different for them because they're right on the front line, but it's still ideas and things that he can take on board. The UK can accept and deport migrants however they want, following international rules, but important. But the UK has finances to has to finance it all in the one of the UK's taxpayer money. And that says Jowl, and he also says, and I think people should know that the EU is now discussing imposing quotas of possible migration in each country. Hence, the rules are becoming more and more organised and harsher. Yeah. France apparently no longer interested in aiding the UK in that, and the UK promised to never complied, and France does not want to end up processing migrants free of charge for the UK. Opening up. if the thing is that if you were to ask people, I think a good question to put before I read into it, if you are somebody who wants to deal with migration, would you be prepared to pay to allow taxpayer money to go towards a centre being set up in France if it meant them not crossing on the boats and then getting processed better, and it would significantly reduce the numbers? I think that's a question that I would put to people who are screaming at the top of their lungs about it as well. Good morning, Steve McMorrin. I hope you're doing well. So let's read into this. So the return of British pragmatism. These were the words from the Prime Minister's press conference on Monday. Sir Keir Starmer was in Rome to learn lessons from the Italians on migration, unapologetically trying to understand how Italy had achieved a 60% drop in Mediterranean small boats crossings over the past year. But this visit was also controversial, because even amid the pomp of a red carpet welcome and warm optics, it is important to remember that this is an issue that has brought two very different prime ministers from opposite ends of the political spectrum together. Even at home, even with the Labour ranks, he has voiced concerns about the new Prime Minister taking advice from Giorgia Mendy's right-wing government. But for Sir Keir, the argument is that is illegal migration. Why is this a norm? Why do we still use the term illegal migration? They need to get this out of their heads. There is no such thing as illegal migration. It can only be stopped with the type of European cooperation trying to achieve here in Italy. And so his defence is that he or Britain was being pragmatic, something the country has prided itself on in the past. However, he was far from clear on whether the UK was now about to adopt some of these controversial policies. There was agreement on trying to prevent people from migrating in the first place, but not many would disagree with that position. I'm going to be drinking a lot of water today, guys, just warning you. Might be because all I've had is toast to stop my stomach bug coming up. Whatever the specifics, it is noticeable that for Sir Keir, it has to be more about international cooperation. With the worst year on record for deaths in the English Channel so far, it is a mission that has become yet increasingly urgent. Well, it was a lot shorter than I was expecting. It's still interesting analysis there by Daphne McCaffrey, but I don't personally have an issue with him going out of his way to take advice from them. Yes, I get the right wing government and whatnot, but I do think I don't know if he will spend time with other nations to look at what they're doing as well. But there'll definitely be some food for thought, that is for sure. Oh, sure, it's good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Bonjour, my friend. Hope you're all right. Jao there says, this at least, according to news coming from France, the government has not said absolutely nothing about it. In fact, they don't care, I think. It's migration. Yep, it is migration, but they call it illegal migration, which they, for some reason, they just can't help themselves. But it'll be interesting as time comes on, what as more on it as well. Like I said, guys, I'm not 100% today, and just a reminder as well, guys. in actual fact, I really struggled to get content recorded. I don't have any content for Rumble or Patreon at the moment, so but yeah, I'm going to try and keep on top of the YouTube one at least for you guys. So the next one I've got for you guys, anyways, moving on, enough about me. Next one I've got for you guys is from iNews here. The headline is what's on Gibraltar's post-Brexit wish list as the UK and Spain meet for talks. So David Lammy met with his Spanish counterpart for talks over a deal which has been in limbo since Brexit came into force in 2020. So the Conservatives are kind of sat on this issue. There have been discussions with the previous Conservative government and the Spanish government and Gibraltar, obviously, about what to do about them in their situation with regards to, obviously, because of Brexit, it's had an impact on them. I'd like to think that David Lammy will be able to sort something out here that could actually be in the interest of the people of Gibraltar, that would benefit those living there. And obviously, one thing that are obviously, which is really, really important, is that a lot of Spanish workers come to Gibraltar to work as well, as well. So I'm interested to know what kind of discussions have been said here with a Labour government as opposed to a Conservative government over this particular issue. So 8 years after Britain voted to leave the European Union, reaching a deal over the post-Brexit future of Gibraltar is a priority of citizens on both sides of the rock, as foreign ministers from Britain and Spain meet today to try and reach a long-awaited deal. So the Foreign Secretary David Lammy met the Spanish counterpart Jose Manuel Alvarez in London on Monday for talks over a deal which has been in limbo since Brexit came into force in 2020. So for most Gibraltarians would back a final deal which permits free movement for people and goods, which is crucial to keep the ROC's economy alive because it depends on about 15,000 Spanish workers who arrive every day for work in Gibraltar. Oh, yeah, you can't. Well, you can't not have the ROC would be dead if you didn't have that. To be fair, Simon says 55. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Give the Spanish it back. The reason why I can't say yes to that, Aki's mad, is because is that something that the people of Gibraltar want? That's my answer to that. So if it is something they want, then yes. But if it's something they don't want, then no. It's the same. And you can apply the same concept to the Falkland Islands as well. You can apply the exact same concept to the Falkland Islands. If the people of the Falkland Islands want to be part of Argentina again, they should be allowed to. But if they don't want to, then they shouldn't have to either. That would be my answer to it. However, an agreement has been held up over objections to Spain's suggestion that Spanish police are stationed at Gibraltar Airport, as well as attempts by Madrid to impose an EU tax regime over British overseas territory. I don't know why there's an issue about Spanish police being stationed at Gibraltar Airport. I don't think that should be a big deal. Right, they're just making sure that people are not coming in. That they're just making sure that people aren't coming in. They shouldn't need to. I mean, the argument will be, well, the British are going to make sure of it. I mean, it's not a civilian airport anyway, as far as I'm aware. I don't see that as a big deal. The EU tax regime, that's a fair argument from Spain, I would say, on that one. Gibraltar has no VAT, but Spain has said if it wants to enjoy free movement, its tax system should be closer to EU levels. I actually agree with that. We failed to understand after the framework agreement was reached in 2020, political leaders are still unable to reach an agreement which provides future certainty for the people on the Spanish side of the border and Gibraltar. George Dyke, the vice president of the cross-border group, which includes Gibraltarians and Spaniards, had told the Eye. Spaniards share the same sense of frustration. We want the politicians to reach a deal so that it gives people on both sides some idea how their future will be. Angel Ceratido, a leader of the General Workers' Union in Algueres, a port near Gibraltar, said the Gibraltar government has objected to the Spain's tax change proposals. Okay. We do not accept Spain imposing tax levels on us. That is something which we fix. We may be willing to move closer to EU levels, but it's something to be agreed. A spokesperson for the Gibraltar government told the Eye. Under the terms of the temporary deal reached between London and Madrid in 2020, most people crossing the border are waved through by border officials. Spain's left-wing government supports free movement at the border, but insists on Spanish police at the airport. One solution could be to station officers from Frontex, the EU's border force, at the airport. Britain has expressed its wish to reach a deal, but only as long as the Gibraltar authorities support all its terms. Spokeswoman for the British Embassy in Madrid told the Eye that Mr. Lamy and Mr. Alves were discussing Gibraltar among other matters, but no deal would be reached without Gibraltar's authorities being present. The 38,000 inhabitants on the rock who voted by 96% of favour of remaining part of Europe in the 2016 Brexit referendum are keen for an agreement to be reached so they can move forward. Gibraltar is the only British territory linked to the Schengen landmass by a landmass, so its future is closely linked to the EU. It's a difficult. This is a much more This is a very difficult situation here, but obviously, I think it's want to be very, very clear here is that. Well, I'm sure they would have had talks about Gibraltar. I think there's no doubt that the two counterparts would have had talks about Gibraltar on that. But obviously, there's not going to be anything guaranteed without Gibraltar's present in those conversations. But they will have had conversations nonetheless about it because it is a situation that needs to be resolved. It's not fair on the people. It's not so fair on the, as they said, the Spanish workers who go to Gibraltar, to work. It's not fair on those who cross over and that have that freedom of movement. It's not fair for the Gibraltar government to have to go through all this. It's not right for them, and its people. So there does need to be this does need to be sorted out. I totally understand why Spain would want its police on the at the airport, because it is a means of them coming in. I understand that. But but a part of me also says is that Spain does not trust the Gibraltar government to properly check people coming in from there as well. If people were to come in from there, and I think that's probably another part of it as well. Let's just see what some of you guys are saying in the chat. Stephen Banker, good to see you on another call, but lurking. Huge round of highs to everyone. No worries, Stephen. Thanks for popping in. Hope you're okay, buddy. Imagine France had occupied Dover, kicked out the inhabitants, filled it with French people, and then give them an autonomous government. That is the Spanish perspective. Change the overlord from the UK to Spain to keep the autonomous government Gibraltar has, and the problem is solved. Terrorists have entered in Gibraltar and then on Spain. That is a troublesome truth. But then you can apply a lot of this same concept to the Falkland Islands. So for those people on the Falklands who are born and raised there and are British and they consider themselves British, so are you saying all those people should be kicked off those islands because those islands originally belong to Argentina as well? Do their thoughts and their opinions not matter either? That would be my counter argument. That would be my counter argument. Because then you can apply that for me, it's a bit of a tit for tat, because if you can say it for one situation, you can say it for all situations, can't you? You can say it for all situations, then, can't you? But I don't know enough about Gibraltar's history anyway. The Falklands were colonised by Brits, yeah, so they are indigenous. There, says Jal. Give it Spanish it's back. Yeah, I'm very much not keen to say that, unless my position is very clear. My position on Gibraltar is if Gibraltar wants to go back wants to be a part of Spain, it should be allowed to. That's my position, but we can agree to disagree on that one. Anyways, let's move to the next topic, you guys. So, one of the things that's been going on over the last day or two, also that's happening this evening as well, is obviously the Liberal Democrats have been having their conference. I will try and get maybe a bit more of a longer video on it at some point in the future, a bit more on the Liberal Democrats. But I wanted to cover this one, I think, because this was a bit touching as well. I actually could not believe she shared this story until I heard it. So this one from the BBC. I had 4 days to live, said Daisy Cooper. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can I just want to fix something here. There we go, let me fix that. Yeah, apparently Daisy Cooper at one point only had a couple of days to live before she was going to die. Liberal Democrat Deputy Leader Daisy Cooper had told her party's conference how doctors warned her that without major surgery she would only have 4 days to live. The St Albans MP said her cushion disease was so aggressive her weight dropped to 7 stone and she was told she may never work again. I laid in my bed and sobbed for 17 hours straight, and I felt like the world had fallen apart. She told the conference that the NHS had saved her life, but she feared for anyone going through the experience today. Can they even get an appointment with their GP? How long have they been waiting for a scan? They are stuck by a hospital corridor rather than a ward as they scream with pain. She accuses the previous Conservative government of having brought the NHS to its knees. Yep, rightfully so. And she promised the Lib Dems would work with the Labour government and addressing the Health Secretary directly, saying, West Street, and if you are listening, take up our ideas or put your own forward. If we don't see the right level of ambition or urgency, we will hold your feet to the fire. I definitely think there definitely needs to be some holding feet to the fire on this, on the Labour government when it comes to the National Healthcare Service. However, I think one thing that we all agree with is that they're going to be using private healthcare, which I just don't think we need to be doing anyway. Daily Blase, good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Robert Higgins, good to see you there as well. Can't remember the year, but yes, the inhabitants of the Falklands did vote to stay with the British Isles. I think it was early in the 2000s, but not sure. It was 2016, I believe it was, is when they had the vote. Or maybe it was around. It was definitely around the time of the Scottish vote, around that year, between 2010 and 2020. They did have a vote, and they voted overwhelmingly to stay British on that. We Lib Dems must continue to campaign to save the NHS and care like our lives depend on it, because I know and we know that so many people's lives really do. Recounting her own experience, Cooper told the conference in Brighton that 12 years ago she had been rushed to hospital. My weight had dropped to around 7 stones, my eyesight was falling, my heart rate had plummeted, and my arms were black and blue, and I was fed only through a feeding tube. She said to the NHS, and not only had saved her life, but gave me life back, adding, thanks to them, I got my strength back, put on some weight and decided to embrace the new life. Croghan's disease and ulcerative colitis are forms of inflammatory bowel disease, IBD, which causes the immune system to go into overdrive and attack healthy tissue in the gut. Oh my god, I would hate anyone to go through that. The conditions which affect around 500,000 people in the UK are lifelong, and there is no longer a cure. Common symptoms of Croghan's disease including diarrhea, stomach aches, and blood in your poo. Oh my god. Did I tell you guys I had a stomach bug last night? And I still got a bit of a stomach bug today. I went... I shouldn't tell you this, guys, but I went... I hope nobody is eating while I'm saying this. Yeah, I got up about 8 times during the night. That's how that's how uncomfortable it was. And this just I don't like this. I feel for her and anyone that goes through something like that. I really, really do. It's absolutely horrible. Cooper also used her speech to celebrate the Liberal Democrats' success in the July general election when the party won 72 seats, its highest tally since 1923. Beginning her address with a triumphant "We did it," she went on to share with her audience her past fears and that the party faced potential extinction. They did. They were rock bottom after them getting in bed with the Conservatives was the worst thing they could have ever done. She recalled a conversation she had in 2020 in which party leader said Davey told her Lib Dems could be wiped out if it lost half the votes to the Conservatives. She said the party had been in survival mode, but now she said following the strong election appointments, I can't even walk to the toilet without bumping into a Lib Dem MP. Turning to the future, she told the party she used its increased power in Parliament to champion top priorities to improve health and social care. And over the weekend, Sir Ed said the government had to invest more in the NHS or accept continuing decline. The party had estimated the NHS needs £3.7 billion a year extra in day-to-day spending and a further £1.1 billion in a year for investment. It said it would pay for the £1.1 billion for investment in borrowing, while the £3.7 billion would be raised through closing loopholes in capital gains tax. Investment in the National Healthcare Service is definitely needed, but Sir Keir Starmer has made it very clear that he will not invest unless there is reform. Then you're not going to fix the NHS unless you put some money in. You can't, the thing is, you can't expect the thing is, you just, how can I put this? It's going to cost money either way. It's going to cost money either way to clear the backlogs, to clear the crisis that the National Healthcare Service is in. So either way, it's just like, it's a frustrating one for me anyway. But because I really do want the NHS fixed as quickly as possible, but we all know it's going to take a while. Was it curry? Says Jow. No, it wasn't curry. I won't say what it is. Yeah, it wasn't curry. No, it wasn't curry. But yeah, don't ask. Though. You can keep asking if you want. But no. Anyway, back to the topic before I'm getting distracted. Anyway, I first of all, like I said, for anyone that goes through what she went through, is absolutely heartbreaking, and there are still many people who are suffering as a result of the NHS in the crisis that is in. Not everybody is still getting that healthcare. I'm sure that I generally do believe that this Labour government is serious about dealing with the healthcare crisis. I generally do believe that. The problem is that I just don't trust them with them giving it to the private sector. And the problem is that West Streeting has taken allegedly donations from private healthcare insurers and whatnot. And it does raise fears about the future of healthcare here, in particular in England. And it does raise share. I do have that concern here, so that is something I'm very, very concerned about. I do hope that the Lib Dems do apply that pressure. I don't care what the Conservatives have to say, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who left it in the wreck that it is. They don't deserve 121 MPs. It actually does make me sick to my stomach that that 121 MPs are Conservative in the House of Parliament, that they still got a high share of votes from the electorate, knowing that they literally destroyed the UK. They literally ripped it apart, and people still voted for them. It does make me sick to my stomach. It really, really does. Eating certain grubs will result in tummy bugs. Yeah, that is true. That is true. But I haven't been sick, which is a good sign. I haven't been sick, which I thought I was going to be sick. I actually generally thought I was going to be sick. If you had seen the state I was in this morning, I would not have been able to do anything. I had a high temperature. I was in a real state this morning, but I'm okay now anyway, guys. But like I said at the start of this live stream, I do have a backup funny video if I need to make a mad dash for whatever reason, guys. Anyway, speaking of mad dashes, this guy, James O'Brien tends to get some all sorts of callers, into his show. He gets some really good callers. He gets some bad callers. He gets some really annoying callers. Then there's this guy from Portsmouth who comes in.
Colin from Portsmouth is on the line.
Well, what have we here? Two British heavyweight titans meeting for the first time. Colin from Portsmouth and James O'Brien. Listen, I've been forced to listen to your pathetic woke nonsense, and let me tell you this, you make me sick. You are the epitome of the lefty, liberal, goo-pudding, ramekin-hoarding metropolitan elite, sitting in your little ivory chair, speaking over brave, right-leaning callers so they're not allowed to tell the nation why Brexit was such a good idea. Crushing listeners' arguments, using their own logic against them. It's disgusting. You are what is wrong with this country. I bet you don't even care that the National Trust is becoming a Sharia kingdom that forces its poor, unsuspecting customers to have scones without any dairy products in. You might as well take your middle name out, yeah? Replace the O with Ules. James Ules Bryan. Because that is how much of an enemy you are to this country. I bet you're on a secret WhatsApp group with Carol Vorderman and Gary Bloody Lineker, aren't you? Plotting with Keir Starmer to get into the House of Lords and make it law to buy your book. Oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you? If we had to pay a licence to watch the BBC and to read your book, you're now the king of radio just because every single caller to your show since 2016 is too frightened to give you one positive of leaving the EU in case they're locked up for free speech. Well, I hope you're happy because you are destroying this once great country from the inside. Anyway, James, I've had a lovely time. Thank you so much for having me on. Love to the family.
Love to the family, Colin. I heard you're on tour at the moment. Are there any tickets still available?
Oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you? If you could come and ruin my tour at Leicester Square Theatre on 2nd of October and elsewhere around the country until October the 12th, I'm not having it. Not having it. But yeah, tickets are available on socomedy.co.uk.
Oh, Billy Kershaw, he's not here to have seen it. He was asking me during the weekend, where's the James O'Brien video? I have it here, and he's not here for it. Oh dear. He's going to be kicking himself when he sees this live stream later on and finds it on here. Oh dear. Yes, love to the family, guys. Love to the family as always. Yes, absolutely. James Ulyss O'Brien, absolutely brilliant. Might go live later. Yeah, if you want to go live later, yeah. I'll definitely pop in after the show here. Definitely, I'll pop in all sorts if you want to go live and talk about things. That's for sure. I might not even cover all the stories I've got lined up tonight, guys, because I don't really want to go past 9 o'clock, if I'm honest, just because I'm not feeling 100% anyway. But it's time for me to do a little bit of shilling or plugging, as I'd like to plugging in stuff, guys. So while you're here, if you haven't already, please hit the like button, greatly appreciated, and share it across social media so others are notified of this live stream. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. It really does help support the channel. Help me get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That is the objective there. Doesn't just help me, it helps the gang behind me here. You know, Ollie, Pingu, and Cash Dummy here as well. Really does support them if you want to as well. And another thing as well, guys. While as I want to say thanks, Mad Monk, for plugging it. Just a reminder, please do not gift any memberships, guys. Tomorrow I will be ending the $2.99 membership. However, here's the cool thing: you can actually join yourself the membership for just 99p, and here's what you get for being a 99p member, guys. You don't just get custom emojis. You don't just get responses to me whenever you comment on any of my videos. Oh no, you're getting even more than that. You get access to community membership posts, which I post every now and then as well. So you get a bit. Sometimes you get a couple of behind the scene things. Get to see those two troublemaker cats of mine. But also, because 99p members, they are now going to get early access to my content. So content that I get loaded up will be early access for you as well. So you're going to be getting that for all that for just 99p, guys. So yes. So those who are $2.99 members, I just want to say, for those who have been $2.99 members for a very long time, thank you guys so much for being long-term members on that level. I really do appreciate it. But after tomorrow, I will be notifying YouTube to cancel the $2.99 membership. But here's the cool thing, obviously, once it ends, guys, which it should do, YouTube shouldn't have a problem with it. It would mean then if people wanted to gift memberships, then they could gift them at 99p instead of $2.99. and they all and everybody at 99p will get access to the same perks there as well. So that's really awesome. However, if you still want to financially support me, you can do super chats, or you can buy me a coffee, or join the Patreon. So the links for all of them are in the description as well, guys. So if you want to do any of them. Anyway, enough a plugging of the stuff. Let's move on. And I should also say, guys, if you're not a subscriber to All Shorts and Daily Blase, someone put a link to their channels in the live chat. Do go and check out their channels. Absolutely fantastic content. And Daily Blase has been regularly doing live streams at Friday at 6 p.m. So do join him on Fridays, on the live stream at 6 p.m. That's a very cool, fun live stream. I'm going to try and attend more often for you, daily, because they're really, really fun ones. And All Shorts regularly does a live stream on Sunday evenings at around 8:30 UK time, I think it is as well. But he also has many other great YouTube channels as well, so do check out the content on his channel as well there. Right, enough plugging for myself and everybody else. So the next one I've got for you guys, this one's from The Guardian. So I still haven't got over my cough, guys. I know, crazy. So benefit sanctions are more likely for minority ethnic claimants, UK data shows. This is from The Guardian. So black universal credit claimants, 58% are more likely to get sanctions than white people, while mixed ethnic groups are 72% more likely. Am I surprised by this? I'm sadly not. But at the same time, it's kind of infuriating, because it's like, we have to highlight this to remind people, hey, we still have a problem in society where we're not treating everyone the same. Can we deal with these issues? Can we can we actually look at ways that we can actually not have these issues where white people are let off more than other minorities? It's just so annoying, to say the least there. So black and minority ethnic benefit claimants are disproportionately likely to be hit with universal credit sanctions. Financial penalties are typically running into the hundreds of pounds, according to official statistics unveiled for the first time. Black universal credit claimants were 58% more likely to be sanctioned than white claimants, and mixed ethnic groups were 72% more likely, and Asians 5% more likely, according to figures published by the Department of Work and Pensions, or DWP. The sanctions have long been controversial, used by ministers to signal crackdown on alleged job shrinkers, and notably for subjecting sanctioned claimants to extreme hardship, including food bank use, poor mental and physical health, and financial debt. Yeah, I hate that people are treated like crap, or shall we say treated like shit, because the hoops that people have to go through to get universal credit is just fucking pathetic. I hate it. I hate people have to go through so much hoops to get what they need to make it to the next day. It's crazy. It's crazy. Tumi Okuka, the chief executive of the civil rights charity Black Equity Organisation, said these figures confirm what many have long suspected, that the welfare system disproportionately penalises black and ethnic minority communities. Campaigners have stopped short of claiming that the disparities show evidence of structural racism or racial discrimination on job centres, but called on ministers to explain and justify the figures and guarantee that minority ethnic claimants would be treated fairly by the benefits system. Caroline Seaman, a researcher for the Public Law Project charity, which analyses statistics, says the public needs to know whether sanctions decisions are being made fairly, and the DWP need to assess any potential discrimination in its sanction process can be rooted out. Sanctions are imposed by officials when claimants are deemed to have failed to comply with benefit rules, such as missing a job centre interview or refusing an offer for a job. Well, it might be a job that they can't do, or it might be something up with them, or something like that. Penalties vary, with benefits payments being stopped as little as a few days or as long as 6 months. A few days, I think a few days, and 6 months, like you're literally killing someone for 6 months. You're literally killing someone. An Equalities Impact Assessment of Universal Credit in 2011 flagged up the risks that minority ethnic claimants would be disproportionately affected by sanctions. Until now, however, the DWP has not considered the level of universal credit ethnicity data available robust enough for publication. The data covers the year end of April when for the first time the number of universal credit claimants self-reporting their ethnicity on their claim form rose above 70%. The minimum baseline needed to underpin any analysis. The DWP cautioned against drawing firm conclusions, saying it planned to publish its own analysis along with detailed ethnic backgrounds this year. A spokesperson said, "We are now analysing the latest data on benefit sanctions to determine the causes and differences on imposed sanctions across different demographics." I just hate this. I hate this completely. However, Dave Webster of Glasgow University, a leading expert on benefit sanctions, said although there were limitations to the statistics, they reveal stark ethnic disparities that have also found in studies of Universal Credit's predecessor for paying unemployment benefits job seeker allowance. The ethnic disparities shown by the statistics do not necessarily indicate racial discrimination or structural racism, but their scale is a cause for concern. The DWP cannot expect a free pass on this. It needs to explain and justify those disparities, it told The Guardian. There are about 7 million universal credit claimants in the UK. In 2023-2024, just under 440,000 universal credit claimants were sanctioned. That many people have been targeted. Annual rates of benefit sanctions hit a high of 1 million in 2013, but dropped after a public outcry over widespread reports of abusive and cruel sanctions practiced by job centre officials. Successive governments has insisted that stopping welfare benefits would incentivise supposedly reluctant claimants looking to look for work or get a job or work more hours at academic studies. And even the government's own research have shown little to no positive effect on employment rates. An internal DWP study in 2020 found sanctions slowed claimants' process into work and pushed them into lower paying jobs. Publication of the report was blocked as not in the public interest by the former Welfare Secretary Theresa Coffey and finally released in 2023 after a long freedom of information fight. Yeah, she did not want information getting out. Labour suggested in its 2024 general election manifesto that it would retain benefit sanctions, promising there would be consequences for unemployed claimants who did not fulfil obligations to work if they were able to. This is whether it, like, for me, like, I'm sadly this is something like this does not surprise me. Now obviously they need to do their own analysis, the DWP, and it says that it will come out at some point this year as well, but it would not surprise me at all if people of minority backgrounds were being treated disproportionately as well. It would not surprise me, to say the least, as well. Robert, most immigrants coming to the UK are escaping war or persecution, but some are economic migrants, says Mad Monk. I think the issue is that ethnic minorities are more suitable to be fired or targeted for less than scrumptious employers, says Jow. DWP have killed people for sanctions. Yeah, they have, yeah, along that way, yeah. They have done so, yeah. Yes, I've heard they stopped payments for months, but I think you'll find it's any race. Yeah, it's more majority will be any. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that white people are not getting away with it. I'm pretty certain, but yeah, it's pretty brutal. Guys, I need to head downstairs for a moment, so you can guess what I have to. So I'm gonna play this funny video for you guys. Hopefully, I won't be too long. And I will probably go to the last article before we wrap things up. But I'm going to play this funny video for you guys. I said I had a backup video in case I need to step away from the live stream temporarily. So this funny video is from Michael Spicer. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this one just while I step away for a bit.
Chairman Jay Clayton. Ambassador Woody Johnson.
Hello, Mr. President. It's me. Sorry I haven't been around for the last 4 years, but I had to go out and buy a pen. But I'm here now, so let's go.
John Paulson, Jamie Dimon.
Okay, I'm not sure why you're just listing names, but it appears to be going quite well, and it's definitely the most lucid you've been for 10 years at a podium, so carry on.
Linda McMahon and Howard Lutnick. Thank you.
I'm not going to coach you, by the way. We've established that doesn't work, so I'm just going to go through your speech and fact check it, okay?
As we gather today, we have an economic disaster on our hands.
I see. Terrible start, but carry on.
And it is time to send Comrade Kamala Harris
Name calling at 78. It's a very special kind of childness, that, isn't it?
back home to California, where crime is rampant and fleeing is the #1 occupation.
Okay, let me just fact check that. The #1 occupation in California is home healthcare provider. Fleeing is not a career option. It's just a verb, really.
From the day I won to the day I left, the S&P 500 increased by 80%.
Presidents have nothing to do with what happens to the stock markets, okay? You could have put Fozzie Bear in charge and it would still have the same outcome.
I delivered the largest tax cuts and reform in American history by far.
No, they were not the largest tax cuts in history. There have been much larger ones. And anyway, your tax cuts didn't trickle down to the ordinary worker. They just made wealthy investors more wealthy. But keep going. You're doing very well.
We unleashed American energy, and within 3 years, we had increased domestic oil production.
The unproblematic issue of oil production, fab.
The price of gasoline was $1.87 a gallon. Doesn't that sound good right now?
Yes, it does. It's a shame that it was actually $2.39, according to the American Automobile Association. You know, I'm really impressed that you can just pull random numbers out of your thatched arse like this.
And I saved the U.S. auto industry from obliteration with a 27.5% tariff on all Chinese cars.
No, it's 27.5%. Oh, wait, that's what you just said. Oh, that's a true thing. That's a true thing. You just said your first true thing. Well done. Oh, there won't be another one now for ages, like a solar eclipse. You remember those, don't you, Mr. President? You stare at them until your retinas burn off.
That remains in place to this day. They want to take it off, but they can't.
Biden has made plans to quadruple that tariff, not take it off. That's a lie.
We will bring our automaking industry to the record levels of 37 years ago.
How?
And we'll be able to do it very quickly.
Okay, how?
Through tariffs.
You've mentioned tariffs. What else?
And other smart use of
Yes?
certain things that we have that other countries don't.
Oh, I see. You've no idea. Right, carry on.
I took care of our economy like I would take care of my own company.
Your companies are currently $1.1 billion in debt. And you've been ordered to pay $355 million in penalties for duping banks with fabricated financial statements that inflated your wealth.
And when our country was hit by the China virus,
Oh, God, I'm so busy fact-checking, I don't have time for the racism.
we did an incredible job. And remember, far more people died of COVID under Biden-Harris than under President Trump.
Yes, that's because for the first 2.5 years of your administration, there was no such thing as COVID. Biden has had to deal with COVID for 4 years. You've had to deal with COVID for 1.5. That's not a victory. That's basic maths.
Kamala launched a war on American energy and orchestrated a nation-wrecking border invasion with illegal
Illegal aerials?
aliens pouring in from countries
Which countries?
all over the world.
Which countries?
They came in from
Yes?
countries that nobody ever heard the name of that country.
Okay, I'll make a note of that, even though it didn't really have any grammar to speak of. Countries that nobody ever heard the name of that country. That'll interest geographers, I guess.
From mental institutions,
Wow, disgusting, but okay.
insane asylums,
Reprehensible and unfounded, but okay, fine.
as well as record numbers of terrorists, human traffickers, and sex traffickers.
There are no records of any of these groups entering the US because they've not been recorded. You can't have records unless you record things. Do you understand? That's why they're called records. But I suppose it's difficult to record events that are only playing out in your rotting, drug-addled fascist brain.
Which together with their terrible energy policies gave us the worst inflation perhaps in the history of our country.
Wrong. The worst inflation in the history of the country was 20.49% in 1917. Today it's 2%.
100.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that 5 minutes. There's like 17. It goes on for like 17 minutes, that video from Michael Spicer. But the link for it is in the description if you guys want to check that out. But let me just see what you guys are saying in the comments there. Backdoor fountain, says Simon says 55. You said that, not me. What surprised me is the last UK government killed more people for austerity than most wars in this century, says Mad Monk. It definitely has been that way. Sorry, but you had I was sanctioned due to the computer system down at the job centre, which was noted. Then I was sanctioned, had to appeal to get the benefits back, says Ginny Bottle. You had to go through all that just to get your benefits back. Ridiculous. No, it's not your fault either. I won the appeal, got my sanctions, but got sanctioned again due to sending a constantly job history, but not my full CV. They called this my second. I appealed and got my money back. Both were wrong. Yeah, they're just ridiculous, man. My son disabled has been a consistent battle over the years, says All Short. Yeah. What about Hunter's laptop? Yeah, I know. This is like I said. The funny video goes on for 17 minutes. Trump's still talking. No, he doesn't stop talking. Sorry, why would the job centre apologise? They would never apologise. They should do, in all seriousness. They threatened me with a third. I told them where to go. As the first two were unjust, I have been on a 6 since. Yeah. Right. Sure. Right. So let me do. I had 2 more articles, but I'm not going to cover both of them. We're just going to go to the final one, guys, because obviously I'm not feeling 100%. I didn't want to go past 9 o'clock, but I wanted to talk a bit about, not so much about this story. I'm probably not going to read this too much into this article, but what I'll instead we'll just talk. I'll talk a little bit about the talk about what happened last night. So for those who are under a rock who didn't know, apparently there was a second assassination attempt on the life of the President Donald Trump. I've said this before and I have said this again. I do not wish death upon anyone. This piece from Byline Times, just in case anyone's wondering, it's called From Assassination to Misinformation, Kremlin's Strategic Use of Digital Disinformation. Ukraine played a role. Russian disinformation network are weaponizing an attempt on the life of the US president. So the perpetrator is obviously in custody. Obviously, as time's passing, more information's coming out about him, as you guys know. What really infuriated me, and I don't know how many of you guys saw Political X Alex's video this morning. He had a video where he was sharing a premiere video where there was a former I can't remember, a former US agent or what, somebody who basically used to work for Trump basically, and this guy was talking to Sky News when it all went down, and immediately right, he blames this all on the Democrats and Kamala Harris and everything straight away with no evidence whatsoever. And he's doing this on Sky News, and he's just basically saying, no, it's all their fault, they're the ones that have started all this. And it's just like, and I'm like going, what the hell is going on here? Like, absolutely insane. You had, I don't know, I don't blame you guys for not being on X, but Elon Musk had tweeted, he has deleted the tweet about, I'm surprised there's not been an assassination attempt on Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, which is not helping the Secret Service at all, putting more strain on them than they need to. This is not helping them in any way, shape or form. I do think that at some point I do fear, I think fear is a better word to describe this, guys. I generally do fear that Donald Trump may get assassinated before we get to the election. I hope that's not the case. I really hope not, because I want him to be defeated at the polls. If he does get defeated at the polls, there's still a chance he can win. But, you know, there's a part of me that feels like there's a lot of Americans out there. There's a lot of Americans out there, guys, who really, really hate Donald Trump and hate him so much that they would gladly try to take him out. And it's really bad. It's really dangerous. And now I'm obviously concerned about, you know, the Secret Service. Like, I'm so glad that the Secret Service was on top of this one. I think they were a lot better on top of this one than they was on the last one. But we don't know the full story of what happened in there. We don't know if gunshots were fired. Might have done. Musk incited. He did incite. Absolutely, he did. All shorts. He did incite. Trump's last words: "What a shot! A hole in one." No. But look, in all seriousness, guys, I'm glad that he didn't get shot, or as far as I'm aware, he's okay. And I really do hope the Secret Service protect him, and I hope the guy who may or may not have attempted this assassination face the full force of the law. And I think, like, as much as I despise Donald Trump and everything that he's doing, I do not wish death upon him or anyone else for that matter, because it's not in my nature to wish that upon even the most cruelest of people, even if it can save lives and whatnot. So let's read a bit into this, you guys. So, following the reported new assassination attempt on Donald Trump at his Florida golf club on the 15th of September, two familiar and recycled narratives have quickly resurfaced. Democrats are responsible and Ukraine played a role. As the FBI is investigating an attempted assassination, conspiracy theories are flooding social and traditional media. Revising the previous disinformation patterns is crucial to understanding how these narratives exploit political instability and public opinion. In light of the US official announcement of new sanctions against Russia state media and the scrutiny of retweets covert information warfare operations worldwide, these patterns merit even closer examination. On the 15th of September 2024, while former US President Donald Trump was golfing at his Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, a Secret Service agent spotted a rifle barrel near a fence and fired at a suspect in the bushes. The suspect, Ryan Wesley Ralph, fled the scene and was later apprehended. Law enforcement recovered an AK-47 style rifle backpacked with Semitic tiles and a GoPro at the scene, indicating a high level of pre-planning. Rolf, 58, expressed support for Ukraine and to visit the country in 2022. He had also contacted Ukraine's Foreign Legion several times, but was never part of the unit, according to a representative who described Rolf's message as delusional. In 2023, Rolf used social media to encourage foreigners, including Afghan conscripts, to join the war, falsely presenting himself as a liaison for the Ukrainian government. This man was hell-bent on supporting Ukraine, and he was willing to lie to people to get people to join. Immediately, a zealous Ukrainian supporter tried to kill Trump with an AK-47 article appeared in Moscow's Commonwealth, owned by Pavel Guskich, sanctioned by the UK and EU in 2022 for supporting Russia's military aggression against Ukraine. This didn't really clock on me as much as now that I'm clocked on it, because I didn't really scroll too much on social media about this. But the more I think about this, the more I'm concerned about Ukraine and the support that Ukraine would get if Donald Trump was to become president, even more on this. A new special investigation unfolds. Disinformation surrounding the assassination attempt continues to spread online, repeating the familiar pattern just 2 months before the second alleged assassination attempt. Former President Donald Trump sustained a light injury during the campaign speech in Pennsylvania on July 13th, 2024. The shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, 25, 3 shots before being killed by security. One rally participant was killed and 2 were injured as authorities were investigating Crooks' background and motives. False claims and conspiracy theories flooded mass and social media, and over 600,000 posts alleged that the Biden administration and Democrats incited the shooting. Social media bots spread misinformation on social media platforms, including X, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Yeah, and people jump on the bandwagon. People immediately jump on the bandwagon for it. The Kremlin, known for swiftly adopting and weaponizing conspiracy theory, is once again using these narratives to further its own long-term goals of sowing discourse and weakening US democracy, while also aiming at Trump's victory in the short term. Russian officials and state media openly back Trump, who has pledged to end military support for Ukraine, broker a peace deal with the Kremlin terms, and lift economic sanctions on Russia. Assassination myths are not new, and in 1964, a KGB front group assisted former Newsweek reporter Joskin Siskin published a conspiracy theory about John F. Kennedy's assassination. According to the revelations of a leaked KGB files Mirokin's archives. And in 1964, Joel Stein, an American journalist of German descent, published a book suggesting a conspiracy behind JFK's assassination. He argued that the assailant, Lee Harvey Oswald, was a discarded CIA and FBI agent chosen to shield the real perpetrators. The book established two recurring themes for the next 30 years, a plot by the right wing and the involvement of the CIA. The publisher, Carl Aldo Masrini, an American communist and Soviet agent, was funded by the KGB according to Mirokin's archives. Notably, in the second alleged attempt on Trump's life, narratives echoed a plot by the CIA immediately appeared on social media. As the USSR covertly influenced Western political dialogues for decades, the KGB developed a methods to plant false stories in newspapers, and since the fall of the Soviet Union, the Kremlin has continued to fund their network of propaganda, state media, social media, paid trolls, and bots to spread digital disinformation. While stories can be fabricated, more often than propaganda machines is repackaging real events and public reactions to serve Moscow's goals. Exploitative and first failed assassination attempts on Trump and its coverage. Russian officials and Kremlin-controlled media push two main narratives. Democrats are responsible for Trump's assassination, and Ukraine's trace in the assassination. As Regan said, it's all speculation. Yeah, it is speculation, but the problem is people believe speculation. There's a saying that if enough people tell you something, it becomes the truth. If let's say there's a fake story out there, I'll give a hypothetical. Let's say the French president was allegedly assassinated, but he wasn't actually assassinated, right? If all the mainstream media had reported that he had been assassinated, everyone would believe it to be true, because that's what everyone is telling you. If the majority are telling you it's true, surely it's true. And you can apply this same concept to social media. If enough social media, whether it's factual or not, are telling you the same narrative over and over again, unless that person goes out of their way to actually look at real mainstream media, or if just flat out refuses to believe the mainstream media, they're not going to believe it, and they're going to go with whatever the narrative of social media is telling you. So, yeah. IQA Library, hope you're doing well, buddy. Several tactics may cause psychological changes in the brain, altering individuals and collective behavior. Reception is a fundamental and effective propaganda method. I'm going to stop at this piece here at the end, guys. Disinformation spreads through seemingly unreliable sources and echo chambers, creating credibility and effective of omnipresence. People have become accustomed to message and then start accepting them based on faith rather than critical thinking. And the rapid fire fire hose of falsehoods techniques overwhelm the audience with a flow of triggering words and imageries causing stress. Quick plot switching and inconsistency aim to procure panic, fear, and confusion, empowering critical thinking and rational action. And at the height of the perceived crisis, propagandists often their solutions readily accept their targets. It's a fascinating piece for sure. Yeah, there's still quite a lot. It's quite a long piece there, guys. I would have gone all the way to the end if I wasn't 100%. Let me put it that way. I would have kept going anyway today, guys, if I'm honest. But as for this, social media is just out of control these days. We do need to get a grip on it. That is for sure. Yes, Alistair Keir has put it properly. Tell a lie repeatedly, it becomes the truth, is what you mean. Yes, that's 100% what I mean, Alistair Keir. Yeah, if you tell a lie enough times, it becomes the truth. Yeah. Just look at the Q and the GOP supporters. The guy was a rep, and I hope he traces his handlers to JD Vance MGT, says Jeannie Bottle. Pingu is on the Russian payroll. Yeah, He's not commenting on that. Here in Portugal, it was allegedly the Communist Party. As a result, they have almost disappeared from Parliament. They are one election from being removed from Parliament because people were informed of what they were doing and not even changing their leader aided them. There are questions about this. Robert Higgins says there are questions about this from what I've heard, but it seems Trump went there as a last minute. So if that's true, how did this fellow know? That is a good question. There's a lot of unanswered questions there. Because the thing is, that golf club is obviously like they can get. There's a lot of people that go in and out of it, and obviously it's a massive acre of land as well. So there is a lot of questions. There are definitely a lot of questions around this. A lie can go around the world before the truth gets its shoes on. That's a great one there, Robert. Great one there. Yeah, great one there. So guys, just before we wrap things up, you didn't think I was going to end on a low. I'm sure I'm sure we'll talk more. I'm probably going to talk if I'm up for the live stream tomorrow, because I do have a Snowflake's live stream, Snowflake Corner, after 1 o'clock live stream tomorrow. If I'm up for it, if I do the live stream, guys, I'll probably talk more about the Trump assassination attempt there. But I wanted to talk a bit about it here anyway. But before we go, guys, didn't think I was not going to leave without another funny video, did you?
Welcome to Broken News. The UK government says it's committed to fixing the economy by going after those with what they call the broadest shoulders. They've begun by focusing on old people who are living lavish lifestyles on sometimes as much as £11,500 a year. Our reporter has more.
The central claim of Labour's election campaign was that they wouldn't hit working people with tax rises. But clearly, that slogan allows room for taking money off old codgers who've already done a lifetime's work. And while many UK pensioners have traditionally voted Conservative, pundits say the PM's plan is a novel way to kill them all off. It's clever stuff. So Keir Starmer says he's not afraid to take the difficult decisions. And nabbing 300 quid off old Granny Ethel in West Bromwich is definitely more difficult than making big fat Russian non-doms pay their fair share. In fact, the PM says, for example, forcing Amazon to pay their tax is actually too easy, and that's why he can't be bothered to do it. The Prime Minister, who still insists on calling Rishi Sunak the Prime Minister, has been urged to make a U-turn on the winter fuel allowance, but has rejected accusations from other Labour MPs that he's behaving like a Tory. In an email seen by Broken News, he told them, U-turn if you want to. The lady is... Sorry, I mean, me is not for... I'm not for turning. I mean, I'm not going to change my mind. In a public statement, the PM said, "We've always said those with the broadest shoulders should bear the biggest burden, and many pensioners have quite broad shoulders because of the thick, warm blankets they're forced to put around their icy, withered necks." In response, the Conservatives have very suddenly become extremely worried about the welfare of the working classes and say they're standing squarely behind the poorest in society, which in fairness is exactly what they would have done at the Somme. Back to you.
What a lovely story. That's all from Broken News. You're up to date.
They're so cruel. They're so cruel. Especially that picture of the greedy pensioners. Oh dear, oh god. Guys, so I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's come along here today. Thank you guys for all your comments. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed or found the live stream informative, interesting, and how you had a bit of fun as well with some of the funny videos as well. Yeah, I'm still not 100%, so no guarantees that'll be a live stream tomorrow, but it depends. It all depends. But what I'll do is I'll have that Michael Spicer video just in case there's a backup if I do decide to go live. If I ever need to make the run again, guys. But just a reminder, please don't gift any memberships until I have let you guys know, either by community post or by letting you guys know on a live stream. Just want to make that very clear. When the change actually happens, then I will let you know. But obviously, when it gets implemented, obviously everyone will be informed that they will get their money back, and all. It should be a case that there should be a refund or something that they should get back. This is what YouTube has said. I'm not quite sure how it works. So for those of you who are on $2.99 memberships, but anyways, I don't know if All Shorts is going live after this, but if he does, do go and keep an eye on his channel if he does. But thanks again, guys. Plenty coming this week. And remember, this Thursday, myself and Random Scottish History, Thursday, 8 p.m. Definitely want to come and check out that one, guys. I'm so excited for that one. It's going to be a great show. Cross fingers. Hopefully I will be a lot better then. But before I go, guys, I just want to have one final thing to say. Again, want to say thank you guys for coming along as well. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share this across social media so others are notified of this live stream. And subscribe if you haven't already, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you could do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, and I'll only be 99p soon. Or you can join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.